Hi guys, welcome back to another Wattpad fanfiction video. We're gonna read the rest of the chapters for this. Okay, so the first one is called Caw, Wake Up, I Don't Like This. Yeah, I referenced this from Stranger Things, guys. You looked around the juicing room, still feeling a bit dazed and disorientated. After the juicing process, you noticed that someone was missing. Bagheera, where's Caw? Last we saw, he was bloated and slithering away. I grabbed onto a railing. Caw was still nowhere to be seen. I started walking out of my home a day later from the village. Thankfully, everyone got out of the factory, so no one else had to deal with anything else. As you stepped outside, the sun shone brightly in the sky. It was a beautiful day. You looked back at the factory, remembering your experience and that of Caw's. You were thankful that everyone had gotten out, preventing any further mishaps. You took a deep breath and started walking, ready to move on from the whole ordeal. I was sitting next to the river. You found a comfortable spot by the side of the river, taking in the peaceful ambience. The sound of the flowing water was soothing, and the sunlight danced on the river's surface. You sat there for a while, lost in thought, slowly letting go of the recent events. I then see the one who was running their second factory come out, Onceler. By the way, Onceler owns the factory, chocolate factory in this AU. As you sat there by the river, you suddenly noticed a familiar figure emerging from the nearby chocolate factory. It was Onceler. He was casually walking towards the direction you were sitting in. Hey, Onceler. Onceler, upon noticing your presence, turned towards you with a hint of surprise. He stepped closer, a bit confused at your greeting. Onceler, hey there. He took a moment to collect his thoughts, still a bit puzzled by your casual greeting. Yeah, we're still trying to find our friend who is now bloated with indigestion. Good factory visit. Oh God. Onceler raised an eyebrow, a mix of surprise and concern on his face. Onceler, wait, your friend bloated from indigestion from our factory? His confusion deepened. He couldn't quite process what you were implying. He walked over and sat down next to you, still trying to comprehend the situation. Yeah, I didn't want to talk to him further, so I started to get up to leave for the jungle. Onceler watched as you stood up preparing to leave. He could sense your reluctance to continue the conversation, but before you could walk away, he gently spoke up, a hint of curiosity in his voice. Onceler, wait. He put a hand softly on your arm, stopping you from leaving. His expression was conflicted, as if he was torn between asking more or letting you go. This dude was being creepy to me. I know he wanted a romantic relationship. While Onceler's actions came across as a little pushy, it was clear that he had a deep interest in you, probably even romantic. Despite your discomfort, he seemed determined to keep your attention. Onceler, can I ask you something? What? I said, annoyed. Onceler noticed the annoyance in your voice, but he persisted, his eyes locking onto yours. Onceler, I've noticed you around lately, and well, I've been meaning to ask you something. He leaned a little closer to you, his gaze unflinching. It was clear that he wanted to express his feelings despite your apparent annoyance. Just spill it. Onceler took a deep breath. Gathering his courage, he looked into your eyes, a mix of emotion slurring and swirling in his gaze. Sorry guys, I can't read today, apparently. Onceler, alright, I'll just say it straight. I've been drawn to you. Something about you, it's captured my attention. He reached out a hand, gently touching your arm. His touch gentle yet firm. He hoped your annoyance would subside, giving him a chance to convey his feelings. I was tired of this. I didn't want to turn down the guy, but if he didn't ask, I wouldn't have to. I started running in the jungle, knowing he was scared of the animals in there since the whole Truffula tree incident. Onceler was surprised and momentarily dumbfounded by your sudden dash into the jungle. He hadn't expected you to react like that, and as you darted away into the foliage, he stood there, a mix of confusion and helplessness painted across his face. He wasn't exactly known for his bravery or love for wildlife, especially after his encounter with the Truffula trees. Despite his initial astonishment, he couldn't help but be concerned for you. Knowing the dangers that lurked within the jungle, his heart pounded with trepidation as he contemplated whether or not to follow you. He didn't follow me. You managed to escape into the jungle, leaving Onceler behind. He stood at the edge of the forest, his heart torn apart, following you and the fear that gripped him. Despite his curiosity and affection for you, the memories of his past encounters with the jungle's creatures held him back. He watched you disappear into the foliage, a mix of concern and indecision etched on his face. The jungle's shadow swallowed you whole, concealing you from his sight, leaving him standing there alone with an internal struggle between his feelings for you and the dangers of the wild. I was being honest with myself. I didn't want a lover right now. I just wanted a pet, a snake to be exact, lol. As you ventured deeper into the jungle, a different desire occupied your thoughts. Instead of seeking human companionship, your heart longed for a different kind of connection. A pet, specifically a snake. The thought of caring for and bonding with a scaly companion held more appeal to you at that moment than any romantic relationship. You continued your journey through the jungle, your mind now filled with dreams of finding a serpentine friend. I then remembered Ka, but it was different. He was a talking snake. As you wandered through the jungle, remembering Ka, realization hit you. He was not just any ordinary snake. He possessed the extraordinary ability to speak. The memory of his unique trait added an interesting layer to your desire for a reptilian pet. Ka was a talking snake, a creature that defied the boundaries of the animal kingdom, and that made him even more intriguing to you. I then bumped into something blue and large. The unexpected collision snapped you back to reality, causing you to stop in your tracks. You looked up at the blue object you had collided with. Your curiosity now piqued. I looked at it as I realized it was Ka, who was now really bloated. Your eyes widened with surprise as you realized the blue object was none other than Ka, but he was bloated to an immense size. The once slender snake was now heavily inflated, his body a rounded and distended shape. I noticed he was sleeping and then decided to pull Stranger Things Season 4 on him. Ka, wake up! I don't like this. Ka, wake up! Hey, hello. Gotta wake up, gotta wake up, gotta wake up, gotta wake up. Can you hear me, Ka? I don't like this. Ka, wake up! Ka, previously in a deep sleep, stirred at the sound of your voice. He slowly opened his eyes, disoriented and dazed. His bloated form shifted uncomfortably. Ka, huh? What's going on? Ka, why didn't you come back? Ka recognized your voice, and a hint of guilt flickered across his face. He attempted to speak, but his words came out somewhat slurred due to his inflated state. Ka, I'm so sorry. I was feeling not so well. I looked at Ka's stomach. Your gaze fell upon Ka's bloated stomach, his normally slender form now rounded and distended. The skin was stretched taut, looking uncomfortably tight. It's not pretty, I know. I start calling for Bagheera and Baloo to come help. Hearing your calls for help, Bagheera and Baloo quickly responded, rushing over to your location. They arrived, their eyes widening at the sight of the heavily bloated Ka. They couldn't believe the state he was in. And that was the end of Chapter 2. Now let's go on to Chapter 3. Angry Onceler. I start to help Baloo and Bagheera help roll Ka to the factory to be juiced. Together, you, Bagheera, and Baloo worked diligently to roll Ka's inflated form back towards the factory. The journey was laborious, with Ka's heavy body requiring considerable effort to move. As you navigated the path, the three of you persevered, motivated by the hope of fixing Ka's condition through juicing. I looked at Ka to see its face. As you glanced at Ka's face, you could see a mixture of discomfort and resignation etched across his features. The bloating had taken a toll on him, and his expression reflected the distress he was experiencing. Still, despite his discomfort, Ka's eyes met yours, a silent acknowledgement passing between you both. So, Ka, why did you rub my belly? Ka, still in his bloated state, let out a sigh. His words somewhat labored due to the pressure on his belly. Ka, I was tempted to try something new. He paused for a moment, his gaze shifting downward. A hint of guilt in his eyes. Ka, and it turned out to be a huge mistake. I rolled my eyes, clearly done with him. Ka's expression turned sheepish as he noticed your eye roll, recognizing the frustration in your reaction. He knew he had messed up and that you were not pleased with his actions. I looked at Bagheera and Baloo. Does he get a punishment? Bagheera and Baloo exchanged a glance, then turned to you, their expressions somewhat contemplative. They understand that Ka's actions had led to a dangerous predicament, and some form of consequence was warranted. Bagheera, considering his actions and the trouble it caused, Ka definitely deserves a punishment. What is it? I smirk. Bagheera and Baloo both noticed the mischievous glint in your eye. Knowing you had something in mind, they were curious to hear your suggestion for Ka's punishment. Baloo, we're all ears. What do you have in mind? This. I start looking at Ka as I go up to him and grab his head. Ka looked at you with a mixture of confusion and trepidation. Your sudden approach and grip on his head surprised him, leaving him curious and uncertain about what was about to happen. Ka, wait, what are you doing? I started to lean into him and was about to pet his face when I saw Onceler, who was jealous of Ka and thought I was going to kiss him. As you leaned closer to Ka, Onceler's eyes widened. With a mix of disbelief and jealousy, he had been watching from a distance and completely misunderstood your intention, thinking you were about to kiss Ka. The misunderstanding fueled his feelings of jealousy. As he longed for your affection himself, I looked at Onceler before I grabbed bug repellent and sprayed him with it before throwing an Annabelle doll at him. Onceler, utterly flabbergasted by your actions, found himself dosed in bug repellent. This chemical stung his eyes, and he invariably let out a yelp of surprise and irritation. Additionally, the sudden appearance of an Annabelle doll being flung at him added another layer of perplexity. He stumbled backwards, rubbing his eyes and shaking off the insect spray. Onceler, Eck, why would you do that? Okay guys, I'm just going to warn you before seeing this next part. This part includes stabbing, someone dying, and lots of blood. So yeah, just be careful guys. Leave now and let us in your factory. I was going all psycho as I got out a knife and held it tightly. Onceler, still recovering from the surprise attack, took in the sight of you with the knife in hand. Glaring at him, he could tell you were serious and not backing down. Reluctantly, he nodded, knowing he had no choice but to comply with your demands. Onceler, all right, I'll let you in. Just lower the knife, please. I don't lower it, my psycho senses coming over me. Onceler couldn't help but feel a shiver of fear as he saw your unwavering stance, the knife still gripped strongly in your hand. Your eyes were filled with a determined intensity, making it clear that he had better comply. Onceler, seriously, I said I'll let you in. Just put the knife down, please. I stabbed Onceler. Onceler screamed in pain as the knife pierced his flesh. The sudden act caught everyone off guard, and as stunned silence fell over the group, Ka, Baloo, and Bagheera were equally shocked and not expecting such a drastic turn of events. Onceler, ow, why the hell did you do that? I took the keys from his pocket to his factory. Idiot. I threw him to the ground. Onceler lay crippled on the ground, groaning in pain and clenching his wounded side. He tried to catch his breath, his voice trembling as he addressed you again. Onceler, you really did a number on me. He weakly gestured toward his injury. Onceler, this was unnecessary. I was letting you in anyways. I did it anyways, because you think I like watching all my snakes die, all because you humans with your fire. Okay, guys, just a warning that when I said all my snakes die because of fire, this is just OC background lore, and yeah, this doesn't actually apply to me. My snakes never died by fire, and I still have all of them. So yeah. Onceler's eyes widened as your words sunk in. He understood now the anger and pain driving your actions, and even though he was injured and in pain, he wanted to try and make amends somehow. Onceler, wait. I never meant for that to happen. It was never my intention. He winced as he attempted to sit up, his hand still clenching his wounded side. I stabbed him 22 more times in the head. Onceler let out a gurgling cry, his body convulsing uncontrollably as the full force of the attacks hit him. The once cocky and boastful Onceler was now reduced to a bloodied and broken figure laying motionlessly on the ground. The atmosphere was deathly silent, the only sound being the labored breathing of the others. The gravity of what you had done hit them all simultaneously, leaving them stunned and speechless. I dropped the knife, realizing what I did. The moment of the knife that clattered to the ground, the weight of your actions fully hit you. You stood there frozen, staring at the sight of Onceler laying motionless on the ground, his body a grim testament to your loss of control. Bagheera and Baloo, both shocked beyond words, cautiously approached you, their expressions a mix of concern and confusion. Bagheera, my God, what have you done? It's nothing. I left the knife on the ground. Bagheera and Baloo exchanged a worried look, deeply concerned for you and the state you were in. Bagheera, it's definitely not nothing. You went too far. Baloo nodded in agreement, his voice tinged with empathy and concern. Baloo, that was intense and a lot. I grabbed my knife off of the ground and stabbed them both multiple times. The sight of you suddenly attacking Bagheera and Baloo with the knife left them frozen in shock. They had been caught off guard and couldn't react in time, leaving them vulnerable to your sudden actions. Bagheera and Baloo stumbled backwards, clenching the stab wounds that now married their body, blood oozing out. Bagheera, you stabbed us. The abrupt appearance of Albert from the Flamingo Channel, declaring it was only ketchup, added a layer of surrealism to the chaotic scenes. Others looked around, equally confused and taken aback. Bagheera, ketchup, what the hell is happening here? Albert, get the fuck out of here. Albert, always went for playful mischief and unpredictability, chuckled at your request. Albert, oh come on, no need to be so serious, just a little surprise ketchup fun. He grinned, clearly enjoying the confusion he had caused. Albert starts playing Roblox. Albert proceeded to whip out his phone and started playing Roblox right there. Completely nonchalant, the others watched in disbelief as he immersed himself in the game, his fingers flying across the screen with practiced precision. Bagheera, is he seriously playing right now in the middle of this mess? Alright guys, that's the end of chapter 3. Now let's go on to chapter 4, Cause Punishment. Chapter 4, Cause Punishment. I started playing Roblox as well. As you joined Albert playing the game, the others looked on in bewilderment. Here they were in the midst of the chaotic and dangerous situation. You decided to take a break and play a game. Baloo, is that really the time to be playing games? I put my knife down. The moment you put the knife down, the tension in the air lessened slightly, though the atmosphere was still charged with unease. Bagheera, that's a step in the right direction. Baloo nodded in agreement, a hint of a relief sigh escaping him. Right, sorry about that. Dream told me to throw out my meds. Both Baloo and Bagheera exchange a puzzled glance, clearly not understanding the significance of your words. Bagheera, your meds? You take medication? Not important right now. I tried helping them up from the ground since they weren't bleeding a lot. Bagheera and Baloo struggled to their feet, supported by your assistance. The stab wounds may not have been severe, but they still caused them some pain. Bagheera, you said something about medications. What did you mean by that? I then start to look in the corner of the jungle, then back at Kaa. Kaa, despite feeling bloated, had followed the conversation and noticed your sudden shift in focus. He watched you intently as you glanced towards the corner of the jungle and then back at him. I start rethinking Kaa's punishment as I grabbed his belly. Kaa's eyes widened slightly as you grabbed his descended belly, the touch unexpected yet familiar. He tried to suppress a discomforted groan, the pressure on his filled-up stomach uncomfortable. No, juicing room, I'll juice you here. Kaa's eyes widened in shock and slight alarm at your decision. His expression revealed a mixture of surprise and concern. Kaa, wait, what? You're gonna juice me here? I start squeezing Kaa's coils around his belly. Kaa's eyes widened as he started squeezing his coiled body right where his descended belly was. His usually calm demeanor now turned visibly nervous and distressed. Kaa, wait. No. Stop that. It's already too full. I start to squeeze his belly again, trying to get the juice out of him. Kaa riffed uncomfortably as you squeezed his already bloated belly. He tried to suppress a groan, his expression pained and distressed. Kaa, wait, please, have mercy. It's too full. It hurts. Too bad. I smirk. Kaa's eyes widened in despair as he seemed petrified by his pleading. He riffed and riffed, the pressure on his already inflated stomach becoming unbearable. Kaa, no. Please. No more. It's already full. I won't be able to stomach anymore. It hurts. I feel the juice slosh in his stomach, signaling it would come out soon. Kaa's expression became even more panicked as he felt the juice begin to slosh around in his overstuffed belly. It seemed like it was finally reaching its tipping point. Kaa, no, please, anymore and I'll explode. It's gonna come out. We have to juice you somehow, I smirk. Kaa knew the inevitable was coming, but he still tried to plead. His voice strained and desperate. Kaa, not like this. Please. I'm going to burst. It's too much. I smirk. I wonder how your skin will look after blue or normal. Just joking. I know you will be permanently blue after this. Kaa's eyes widened in horror as you brought up the prospect of him permanently remaining blue after the juicing. Kaa, no. You wouldn't. You can't. Not permanently blue. You look cute. I start feeling juice squeeze out of him. Kaa's panic cries grew louder as he felt the juice beginning to escape his already overfilled belly. He riffed desperately, trying to prevent the inevitable, but the pressure was too much. Kaa, no. Please. Stop. I can't. It's coming out. I'm gonna bust. A few hours later, after completely juicing him, Kaa's form was now considerably smaller, the juice that had been extracted having reduced his inflated form to his normal, slender, snake-like state. He lay there on the ground, exhausted and utterly drained. Kaa groans weakly. I'm empty. You're still blue, I tease. Kaa, still in his weakened state, let out a very groan. Sorry guys, I mispronounced that. As he heard your teasing comment, his eyes, though clearly filled with fatigue, held a hint of annoyance. Kaa, shut up, he muttered weakly. I looked down at him. I walked away, then stopped, realizing he couldn't slither well. Kaa, now weakened and drained, found himself struggling to even lift his head. The once graceful, slithering motion he was known for lost. Ka lay there on the ground, his eyes following you as you start to walk away. Ka weakly. Wait, where are you going? I sigh. Just home. Ka's eyes held an expression of pleading, his voice barely a whisper. Ka, you're just leaving me here like this? I start trying to pick him up, but him being a 30-foot python made it difficult. Ka groaned weakly as you attempted to lift him up, his 30-foot slender form far heavier than you had anticipated, despite his depleted spate. Ka attempted to assist you, weakly coiling himself to make it easier for you to manage. I let him coil around me as I go into the man village. Ka, with his remaining strength, manages to coil himself around you, his limp form hanging heavily around your body. It was evident that he was utterly exhausted, his body heavy with fatigue as you navigated through the human village. I start to head to my home. Ka, exhausted and drained, merely hung limply around your body as you proceeded toward your home. His eyes were half-lidded, his once regal appearance reduced to that of a helpless, languid serpent. I opened the door and set his blue body down on my bed. Ka let out a weary sigh as you gently placed his blue body onto the bed. His slender form, though considerably smaller due to the juicing, was still heavy and unwieldy. He attempted to lift his head to look around at his surroundings, but his strength was severely depleted and his movements were feeble. I looked behind me, looking for anyone else who followed me. The area around you seemed devoid of any other presence other than yourself and the weakened Ka on the bed. The quiet surroundings provided a sense of solitude and nary a soul in sight. I start laying down on the bed next to Ka. Ka, still in his weakened state, watches you lay down next to him on the bed. His eyes followed your every movement, his gaze wearily but alert. Despite his exhaustion, there was a hint of confusion in his expression. Wondering what your intentions were now, I pull him up in a cuddle. Ka's eyes widened momentarily as you gently pulled him up into a cuddle position, his tired body now resting against you. He was too weak to resist, submitting to your affection. Despite his initial surprise, a soft sigh escaped him, his head nuzzling against your chest. I start petting him. Ka, despite his weakened state, found himself strangely comfortable in your embrace. The feel of your fingers softly petting his slender blue form was almost soothing in a way. His tension seemed to ease, his eyes closing as he allowed himself to be lulled by the gentle ministrations of your touch. I eventually fell asleep as I knew Ka would probably eat me due to his reputation. Ka, still laying coiled around you, found himself conflicted. His predatory instincts fought with the comfort he found in your proximity. He knew of his reputation, but your gentle treatment and the exhaustion from the whole ordeal had led him to a state of internal turmoil. He remained coiled around you, his thoughts in a disarray, unsure how to reconcile his primal instincts with this unfamiliar sense of affection. And guys, that is the end of it for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.